Welcome back to the Girls Class A State Basketball Championship. I'm Andrea Randall, and we've got an exciting game for you today in our semifinal game, too. Carrollton is going to play Stockton today, and the winner will join Totopolis and to play for the championship. This is going to be a great game.
Indeed, the second state Class A semifinal, Carrollton and Stockton. Live here from Redbird Arena in Normal. Stockton at 24-7, Carrollton at 32-1, the top-ranked team in the state of Illinois. Good afternoon, everybody. Kurt Pegler along with Normal West head coach Bernie Charo. Already Totopolis is in, and now Carrollton and Stockton, one of those two teams is going to match up with Teton in the finals.
And you know, Stockton is the team that everybody's talked about being the black horse. They are a team that only goes with 6 players. You and I know how difficult that could be. But Carrollton comes in with a lot of experience and a coach that knows how to win.
When you talk about the road to the Elite Eight, we'll take a look at how those teams got here. Stockton is from the northwest part of the state. They beat Nashville and Rockford Lutheran, which had been unbeaten. That was a huge, obviously, win. Nashville was the quarterfinals last night, and they beat Eastland and Dakota in the sectional finals. Meanwhile, Carrollton has only one loss all year. They beat Gillespie and Southwestern as part of that Southwestern sectional, then beat #1 Bree Central, or that was #1 against #2, I should say, at that time. Bree Central 45-40 for the Super, and Monmouth yesterday 63-37. That was in the quarterfinals. Let's talk about some of the keys. First of all, when you talk about Stockton, you got to begin your conversation with Jody Wolf.
Jody Wolf is very much a dominant player. She could score from the inside. She's definitely a guard that looks to score. She's a 3-year starter. She averages 14 points a game. Rebounding was the key yesterday for them, but she, the coach says, is the heart of the team. Yeah,
they have, as we said, they probably played 5 or 6 players. Carrollton might be a little bit deeper. Karen Brandon is the one that really kind of sets the table for them.
Well, I think from Karen, what we actually see, she's, again, a senior leader. She's a 3-year starter, a solid rebounder, but she's a playmaker. She sees the floor very well. The assists that she puts out, 7 a game, tells you that not only can she score, but she sees the floor.
Well, let's break this game down, Bernie. What are the keys to the game? First of all, we'll start with Stockton. What do they got to do to win this ball game?
I think Stockton, one of the things that they have to be aware of is the fact that they only go with 6 players. So with that in mind, you're looking at fatigue. That is going to be a consideration. The perimeter game, they can score from the perimeter. They need to do that tonight. But Carrollton's transition game, they have to stop the transition.
And as we mentioned, Carrollton has been impressive getting here. What are the keys to Carrollton's victory if they were going to win tonight?
Yesterday, Carrollton scored 28 points inside, so they dominate the inside. They need to continue to do so. Control the tempo, again, transition, but the defensive pressure is what they are noted for.
It's a little bit like David against Goliath. Stockton against Carrollton. Stay tuned. The Class A semifinals continue. This winner is going to take on Totopolis for the state championship tonight. We'll step away for a local break here from Redbird Arena. It's Stockton at 24-7, and #1 Carrollton at 32-1, the second of 2 Class A state semifinals here at Redbird Arena in Normal. Kurt Pegler and Bernie Charo with you. The winner of this ball game will take on Totopolis to be crowned the 2001 Class A state champion. It's certainly a difference in perspectives, as we've mentioned. Stockton has pretty much got this far on just the strength of 6 players. Carrollton likes to run about 8 or 9 players into the lineup, so it might be one of those fatigue questions that we don't want to harp on, but that's going to be a factor.
I really think so, but you know, the coach says that that's how they've played all year. But you and I know this floor is different. It's a college floor. It's 10 feet longer than what they're accustomed to playing. There has to be a fatigue factor from last night. But, you know, adrenaline goes a long way in athletics, and we'll be able to see what they actually do as soon as they hit the floor. Carrollton, on the other hand, very composed, very organized. You know, they're the type of team that they look to score on every opportunity, Kurt. When I watched them yesterday, they have set inbounds plays from the sideline, and that shows you that they have an arsenal of weapons that they're going to use because they want that championship trophy.
Head coach Lori Blade of Carrollton has said that her seniors have gone through a lot of heartbreak. They lost in overtime in the 1998 state quarterfinals to Sterling Newman. They lost in overtime in the 1999 state title game against Nokomis. Finished that season 35-1. The lone loss coming in that championship game thriller. So she says, hey, our seniors have had their hearts broken. We want to come to Normal and do something that we haven't been able to do, and that's finish the job.
Yesterday when I spoke to Lori, I asked her what she felt about the fact that they lost mid-season to Nashville. And she said, Bernie, that was one of the best things that happened to us, because the year that you just mentioned, they'd gone undefeated and then they lose in the championship game. She says that feeling just went with the girls all through the season. Well, this year, it was a wake-up call. There were some kids who were not feeling well. They had the flu, this, that, the other. But Lori said, you know, we could have won the game. They did not. But it was the best time to have that happen mid-season so that they can use that opportunity and learn from it and say, okay, what direction do you want to go? Solid senior leadership on the Carrollton team.
And while Carrollton spent all of the year ranked in the top 5 in one way, shape, or form, Stockton is one of those teams that did not do that. They had 7 losses by Christmas, but gradually the Lady Blackhawks got things going, and since the first of the year, they have been terrific, unbeaten since the first of the year.
Well, and you know, as a coach, this is what you work for. You work for the tournament, and what happens from November until that first regional game is really irrelevant. What happens beginning that first regional game, Coach says they are playing the best basketball that I've seen them play, and that's where we want them today.
Well, Stockton is making its second trip here to the state semifinals. Back in 1993, the Lady Blackhawks finished 4th. Carrollton, meanwhile, in the 90s, is just absolutely making this place a second home. They just continue to come here. This is the 4th appearance at state in the last 6 years for the Lady Hawks of Lori Blade. You're getting a nice peek of Terry Court's huddle. Let's talk about the men who will be working today's game. Carlos Burton, Dave Schock, and Steven Schrantz are the officials who will be working the ball game this afternoon from Redbird Arena in Normal on the campus of Illinois State University, home of the Class A championship game tonight. Teutopolis knocked off Normal University High School 65-54 in the first semifinal, and they wait. T-Town awaits the winner of this ball game between Stockton and Carrollton. Again, a look inside Terry Court's huddle. She's got a great sense of humor, and she's trying to keep her team loose. They played loose against Nashville in the quarterfinals last night, and they really came out flying.
You know,
now let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll go to our public address announcer for that.
Starting lineups for the second semifinal game of the 2001 IHSA Class A Girls State Basketball Finals. First, from Stockton High School, the 5'7" senior, number 10, Jody Wolf. From Carrollton, the 5'6" senior, number 20, Karen Brannon. From Stockton, the 6' senior, number 22, Chelsea Ilder. From Carrollton, the 6' junior, number 21, Alicia DeJazer. For the 5'10" senior, number 24, Stephanie Gray. From Carrollton, the 6' junior, number 22, Justine Tucker. For Stockton, the 6' senior, number 30, Marcy Jackson. For Carrollton, the 5'6" senior, number 24, Laura Moss. Stockton, a 5'10" junior, number 31, Rachel Court. From Carrollton, a 5'9" freshman, number 34, Amber Shelton. The Stockton Lady Blackhawks ran a 24-7 record into the game. They're coached by Terry Court in her 7th year with a record of 174 wins.
There's your starting lineups for this afternoon's ball game. Terry Court and Stockton, 24-7.
Also in her 7th year,
174 wins and 36 losses. Carrollton, coached by Lori Blade, also in her 7th year. So a couple of coaches have spent 7 years at their respective schools. Lori is a 197-24 mark, and she has certainly built a winning tradition with the Lady Hawks there. None of her teams have had fewer than 22 victories since 1997. Let's take a look now at those starting lineups, which were just announced. First for the Stockton Lady Blackhawks, Jody Wolf. She's a terrific player. We'll keep our eyes on her tonight, along with Marcy Jackson, Chelsea Eilders, Stephanie Drain, and Rachel Korth, who's the daughter of the head coach, Terry Korth. That's Stockton. Carrollton's starting five: Karen Brandon, Laura Moss, Justine Tucker, Alicia DeShazer, and Amber Shelton, a terrific freshman who's really made a huge difference with this ball club.
And, you know, Amber does not look like a freshman. And, again, she does not play like a freshman. We have been blessed in this tournament with some very exceptionally talented guards, and you will see a few of them on Carrollton's team tonight.
Stockton in the maroon uniforms with gold trim, and Carrollton in the white uniforms with green trim. And Stockton controls, and we're underway in the second state semifinal here at Redbird Arena. Kurt Pegler and Bernie Charlo with you on the IHSA television network, and glad you're alongside for Class A basketball. We're down to the Final Four and now down to the Final Three. Teutopolis is already in the finals, and the winner of this game meets T-Town for the championship tonight. Wolf may have traveled, and she did.
Coach Blade was real excited. She got up and started clapping. You know, she told me yesterday that she wants her defense to start this game off, and they got a turnover.
Not the kind of start that Stockton wanted. We'll see what Carrollton does now in its first offensive possession. Carrollton, the Lady Hawks; Stockton, the Lady Blackhawks, meeting head-to-head here at Redbird Arena. Nice drop-down pass, and a quick basket that time by Amber Shelton.
Again, as a freshman, solid post move, but she knew when to lean off her defense to get open for that solid post move.
And Carrollton immediately showing full court pressure. Stockton and Carrollton coming from opposite parts of the state. Long bus rides, but both bringing significant fan base. And an outside jumper by Rachel Korth is good. And we're tied at 2. Again, how much of it, Bernie, is nerves? Here we are in the state semifinals. These gals know what's at stake. How long does it take for them to really get in the flow, do you think?
I really think that, you know, after you score your first or second basket, that makes a difference. But if you have too many turnovers in the beginning, then the nerves seem to dominate rather than dissipate.
Well, speaking of a turnover, Stockton had one, but Jody Wolf couldn't capitalize. So now Carrollton coming back. We're even at 2. Karen Brannon travel.
Now that's a rare turnover for Karen. One of the things that I mentioned in pregame was that she has the ability to see the floor. I think she just took one dribble too many, but we won't see that happen too often today.
Stockton patiently working the ball around the perimeter now as we've played 2 minutes here in the opening quarter, and we're tied at 2. Amber Shelton is that terrific freshman from Carrollton. We'll keep our eyes on her. As Bernie mentioned, some great underclassmen here in this 2001 tournament, and a foul. We'll get a couple of shots coming out of it. Stephanie Drain took it right to the basket and drew that foul.
The crowd behind us, I think they wanted a turnover prior to that. They thought maybe she traveled or did something illegally with the basketball, but instead she was fouled.
Drain had 13 points in the quarterfinal victory over Nashville last night, 58% free throw shooter.
That's a great name, Drain.
Yeah,
she drains the bucket.
I think probably for basketball, that's not so bad to have. Terrific player too, averaging better than 10 points and 5 rebounds a game. She splits her free throws and gives Stockton its first lead at 3-2. That's Laura Moss bringing the ball up the floor, almost turned it over.
Jody Wolf is making it very difficult for them to penetrate with the basketball.
DeShazer down low, and she's going to get to the free throw line. Nearly made it a 3-point play.
Yesterday when I watched Carrollton play, I really liked Alicia DeShazer. I thought that she is really solid when she gets the basketball, and you're not really sure what she's going to do with it. Here she uses her left hand, she does a solid crossover move, and then she uses her shoulder to get up underneath the defense and puts up a solid post move. You like to see that.
Her first free throw goes down. She had a couple of sisters that have played for Carrollton, so it's a family tradition for the DeShazers to get in and play for the Lady Hawks. She makes both of her free throws, a 57% free throw shooter, and it's back to a 1-point lead, 4-3 now for Carrollton. Early on here at Redbird Arena, the second Class A state semifinal. Stephanie Drain walked. So a couple of maybe nerves turnovers, each team now with 2.
Right, and I think again that Carrollton defense, they're mixing things up quite a bit, and Stockton isn't really sure what's happening on the floor right now.
Down low, a hoop and a foul. Laura Moss scoring off the glass after the pump fake.
And again, who made that happen? Alicia DeShazer. Alicia DeShazer saw her from the left side of the floor, and a bullet pass all the way across. Nice into the hands. We always try and tell the post players, keep the ball up, don't bring it down, but she still was able to score.
And Laura Moss at 5'6", not afraid to score in the paint. And she makes good on the free throw and completes the three-point play, and it's a 4-point Carrollton lead now, 7-3. They've staked themselves to the early lead. Nice pass, one-handed from Wolf down to Marcy Jackson.
Again, another guard seeing the floor, and she was able to pass that ball from half court. A little bit of a collapse on the Carrollton defense.
Wolf plays with so much poise out there. She just seemingly knows where every player is on the floor. A three ball is up and down now from Alicia DeShazer.
Again, I said it once, she has so many things in the game that she does well.
Scores inside and scores outside. That's the first triple of the game. Carrollton has doubled Stockton at 10-5 here. Lady Hawks are packing that zone in. From the outside, it's drained, missed the shot. And the rebound is cleared now by Carrollton's Amber Shelton. Here's Brandon now, left open for a minute, and she knocked down her own three.
There you go, Karen Brandon, a senior leader. Lori told me that she will either lead by her shot or lead by her defense.
And in that case, perhaps both. She knocked down that three, and now a 10-second count. Stockton had trouble getting the ball across the timeline, and a turnover, it'll go to Carrollton. Good start to the first quarter for Carrollton. They lead it 13-5 early on here in the second Class A state semifinal. We'll take a network break on the IHSA Basketball Network. (13-5) Carrollton out to the early lead over Stockton in the Class A girls state semifinals here at Redbird Arena. If you're looking for a good website, you have to go no further than the IHSA website. IHSA.org. We'll be asking a trivia question a little bit later and encouraging you to log on and see if you can't get our answer. Have some hats and goodies for you here from Redbird Arena. 13-5. Carrollton out front here. Under 4 minutes to go here in this opening quarter. Loose ball on the floor. Still loose. Laura Moss gets it, and she's fouled by Wolf.
That's an unfortunate foul because Jody was really trying to put pressure on the ball, and Laura was very smart, tried to go left and go right, and there was bumping there.
That's the first team foul, or I should say the third team foul for Stockton, the first on Wolf, and a basket down low that time by DeShazer. She's scoring outside, and now she's scoring inside. 7 of her team's 15 points. An aggressive Amber Shelton knocks the ball out of bounds. They're putting that full court pressure on Stockton.
And that's what they're known for, their full court tenacious defense. That's one of the things that Monmouth felt that they had trouble with yesterday. They just couldn't break their pressure.
Carrollton on an 8-2 run right now after Stockton had an early lead. Stockton having a very difficult time, Bernie, getting the ball inside.
And she's playing an interesting matchup zone where she's allowing perimeter passing, and she's double teaming down at the low post, which right there, you saw the turnover.
The quick hands of Karen Brandon coming away with the steal there. 4 turnovers now for Stockton. Now Brandon works to the baseline. And she's going to get to the foul line. Quick first step, Bernie, that time, and she got right to the hole.
Very much, and you know, one of the things that Karen does very well is she has a good, solid rock out of her hesitation, and she was able to penetrate very quickly, and then she was fouled.
We talked about her at the top of the broadcast, a solid performer, a 4-year starter at point guard. And when your point guard starts as a freshman or a sophomore, you can tell that that player has a good head on her shoulders, and obviously the head coach is confident turning the keys of the car over to her.
And you know, that's big, because if you don't have a point guard, it's very difficult to do anything offensively, because they are the key to all types of things, whether it's transition or pattern offense.
Both free throws are good. It's a 17-5 lead now for Carrollton. They've opened it up to a dozen points, and they've done it in quick fashion. Now Wolf for three. Her shot is short. Long rebound out to Korth. Her putback is good. And so Rachel Korth now has 4 of her team's 7.
We're having a conversation coming down the court here.
A 10-point lead for Stockton as we approach the 2-minute mark left here, first quarter. 17-7. The Lady Hawks in front. Open look that time, but a short shot by Amber Shelton. And the long rebound comes out to Wolf, who's fouled not that time by Brandon.
Karen Brandon's being very aggressive. She just wants to be able to generate that defense and get a turnover on the defensive end. Just a little bit of a reach there.
So that's Brandon's first and the team's second foul. And now in the substitution, Lindsay Kramer is out. Stephanie Drain is back in for Stockton. As we mentioned, Terry Korth really uses just about a 6-player rotation. Here's Wolf, hangs and fires and misses the shot. The long rebound comes out. It's Laura Moss that gets it. And there's going to be a hand check foul in the backcourt, and that's not a very good foul for a senior player in Wolf.
Well,
that'll be her second.
Jody's putting her hands up. Why? And she knows why. She worked, you know, her footwork was just a step slow, and she was, you know, trying to almost piggyback.
And after picking up her second foul in the opening quarter, Wolf takes a seat, and Lindsay Kramer is now back in the ballgame. Here's Shelton down low. Boy, she can get position on the low block, and she's hard to move out of there.
And you know, Karen Brannon actually found her, and it was a great pass. And for a freshman, again, you know, we look at her body size, you look at her, you know, her physique, and her mental capacity out on the court. She does not play like a freshman.
Well, she had 29 points in the sectional title game against Southwestern. And she has state championship experience playing on the 8th grade state championship team from Carrollton. So, as you said, she might be a freshman as far as the years are concerned, but her advancement in the game is certainly more so than what a typical freshman would have. It's an 18-7 lead now for Carrollton, albeit there was a brief Stockton lead, but it's been Carrollton throughout so far, leading here in the opening quarter. And the pass is now picked off by Amber Shelton. She was in the right place at the right time as Marcy Jackson had the ball roll off her fingertips. And Brandon brings the ball back up the floor now for Carrollton as we approach the 1-minute mark left here in the quarter. There's Shelton, left open down low, and she scores.
Amber Shelton came from the weak side. They set a nice screen at the weak side low block, which allowed Amber to free from the backside, and Karen Brandon saw her.
And Terry Korth wants a timeout. Her team is down by 13 points, and Shelton, when she gets free down low, this can be almost automatic.
This is Karen's 4th assist. She sees things so well, and a solid move by Amber Shelton.
That's a good point. 4 assists already in the opening quarter for Brandon. And now if you're Terry Korth, how are you trying to get your Blackhawks back into things, your Lady Hawks?
You know, it's extremely difficult because it's not that Stockton is doing anything wrong. It's the same type of thing. Carrollton is doing so many things right, and decision making is critical, but you just have to encourage the kids. Play your game, play what got you here. Don't force up some shots that you don't want to take. Take your time against their defense.
And certainly playing the role of the underdog is nothing new for Stockton. And there were a whole lot of people that didn't think that they'd beat Rockford Lutheran in Monday's super sectional game, and they won that game. And there were a whole lot of people here that thought Nashville was going to beat them in the quarterfinals last night.
Right.
But they've overcome that. And don't forget, tonight we'll have the state championship game. It's Teutopolis against whom? Will it be Stockton or will it be Carrollton? We'll find out at the conclusion of this one, and those two teams will meet for the state title tonight at 8 o'clock. Carrollton's pressure is bothering Stockton.
Quick.
I'll tell you, that was a smart play by Stephanie Drain to throw it off the defender's back foot.
That was right in front of us, and you could just see the quickness and the anticipation that their defense has. Impeccable footwork on defense.
Lindsay Kramer almost walked, but she said gives it up to Korth. Her shot is no good. Rebound that time by Drain. She lost it on the floor. Again, it's Carrollton coming away with it. Laura Moss with the quick hands. That's her second steal. And now with a 13-point lead, we'll see if they'll hold for one final shot here as we approach 30 seconds to go in the quarter. You like that philosophy? Would you hold it for one at this point, or would you go for it?
No, because that's not the type of team that they are. I would just play the way they've been playing. They're very much an attacking offensive team.
Well, they tried to attack that time and missed the 3-ball. Now on the other end, it's Korth. Her shot is no good, but the weak side rebound is put back up and missed and put back up again, and we're going to have a foul that time. All kinds of attempts down there, but nothing, unfortunately, would go for Stockton.
One of the things that Terry is telling her daughter, honey, you can't miss that layup. And, you know, she missed an easy shot, rebounded her own basket, but then power it up, because if you get that foul, that's a 3-point opportunity.
Copper McPeak at the foul line, made that first free throw. So we're seeing Katie Nolan now check in for Carrollton. McPeak's second free throw is no good, and the rebound out to Brandon now with 13 seconds and counting left here in the quarter. 20-8, Carrollton with the ball and the lead. 4 seconds left. Carrollton doesn't realize it, and they're not going to get a shot off. Nobody was able to see how much time was left in the quarter, and they didn't get a shot off.
And you can see Lori's not happy with that. She's saying, be aware of the clock. You need to be aware of the clock.
At the end of one, it's Carrollton 20 and Stockton 8. And we're back after this local break. When you take a look at the team matchups, you see that Carrollton scores more points and has a better defensive average, but Stockton's field goal percentage, 59% of the year, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And again, what we're actually looking at, though, right now is they're shooting 30%, and so they're well below their average, whereas Carrollton's shooting 75%, they're 6 for 8. And again, I really have to give credit to Carrollton's defense.
And we begin the second quarter now with Carrollton owning a 12-point lead and the basketball. Stockton packed in on its zone defense, it appears, as well. Again inside to Shelton, and she's going to get back to the foul line. Shelton is a pretty good free throw shooter, too, at 70%.
For Stockton, number 30, Marcy Jackson.
Averaging better than 16 points a game. Terrific freshman.
Very poised freshman.
I agree. 22-8. Kramer in the corner. Brandon tried to save it. Saved it right back, though, to the opponent. Ball on the floor. Still on the floor.
And again, Karen Brandon had her hands on that ball. If you would just take the time to watch the footwork of the Carrollton girls, Karen Brandon, Alicia DeShazer, and they just move so quickly. They anticipate so well.
Ball out of bounds, and Carrollton's going to get it again. It's been a rough go now for Stockton here in the last couple of minutes, Bernie. Not getting many offensive looks, nor getting any really good offensive opportunities.
No, and that's frustrating because they're trying very hard to read what's happening defensively, but, you know, you can't overcome speed sometimes.
And the jumper rolls out that time for DeShazer, put back up and no good, and cleared that time by Stephanie Drain. One of the few times that DeShazer has missed. has 7 points. Her and Shelton are game's leading scorers right now for Carrollton. Now from the outside, it's Drain. Her shot is no good, and the long rebound is knocked out of bounds, and it's going to go to Carrollton.
And defensively, they allowed that shot. They're in a 1-2-2 matchup, and no one went down to contest that shot. And, you know, it could have gone in, and that could have been a problem, but it, you know, Carrollton benefited by that.
22-8 our score. Carrollton leads Stockton here in the Class A state semifinals. Nice entry pass from Brandon to DeShazer, but she kicks it back out. Shelton missed the shot, stepped on the end line. Boy, it just hasn't gone right for Stockton here in the opening half.
No, and you know, they have to be able to do something advantageous when they get a turnover instead of giving it right back to Carrollton.
Now Shelton on the low block scores again in the paint.
That's just a great post up for a freshman. So strong and able to power it in.
And another assist for Brandon, who has 5 here in the opening half. She knows to whom to distribute that basketball. Stephanie Drain, though, got position, and she's going to get to the free throw line.
You know, that was nice offensive work for Stockton. They were finally able to put an offensive rotation in. And I think that that's exactly what, you know, coach is telling them to do. Take your time, pattern, use your pattern. Work the ball inside and try and get it down low.
Drain had 13 points in the quarterfinals last night. 53% free thrower. There you see the substitution now as Nolan goes back to the Hawks bench, and Dana Carter is in now for Carrollton. She splits her free throws. It's a 24-9 Carrollton advantage. As we're under 6 minutes to go here until halftime. They're content on pounding the ball inside, Carrollton is, but that time was a traveling violation whistled against Alicia DeShazer.
Alicia actually did shift her pivot foot.
Entering the Stockton lineup, number 12, Lindsey Kramer.
And now Lindsey Kramer comes back in the game for Stockton. And Chelsea Eilders will grab a seat next to Terry Court. Jody Wolf brings the ball up the floor. She picked up 2 fouls quickly in the first quarter, but now back in the game here in the second quarter. And certainly Stockton is a better team with her on the floor than with her on the bench.
Absolutely.
Drain finds Jackson, back to Drain now in the corner. Her pass is picked off that time by Amber Shelton. She's just got Wolf to beat. One-on-one, takes her to the basket and scores.
That was a great move, and you know what happened? Jody Wolf had to back off. She didn't want that third foul, Kurt, so she basically had to let her take that layup. But watch the difference on offense. Stockton passes and stands, nobody cuts, but the defense anticipates where that ball's going to go. The defense is working very hard against this offensive set.
A foul that time on Brandon as she was the only line of defense there before an easy basket would have been made by Rachel Korth. Boy, Amber Shelton runs the floor so well on that last break, Bernie. She already has 11 points. And Korth now to the free throw line for a pair of foul shots. She had a 27-point performance earlier this year against Galena back in December.
I'm sure the college coaches that are here are very excited to see some of the young talent that the Class A venue is showing today and yesterday. There are so many recruitable athletes that are out on the floor this weekend. It's very fun to see.
Korth is short on that second free throw, but Jody Wolf had a look at it on the offensive rebound, couldn't get it. Ball was knocked out of bounds again that time. Nothing going right for Stockton as Lindsey Kramer couldn't control it in the corner.
Timeout.
We have an official's timeout on the floor. With 4:48 to go till halftime, Carrollton in front of Stockton, 26-9. You're watching the girls' Class A state semifinals on the IHSA Basketball Network.
Fun fact that we've uncovered here at the state tournament is that Calista Flockhart of the famed Allie McBeal actually was born, I should say, in Stockton, Illinois, and I'm here with Leslie Harley, who knew her as a toddler. And Leslie, what kind of kid was Calista Flockhart?
Oh, she's a pretty tame kid. It was her older brother that got into trouble with me, so she was just so young that I didn't really know her very well. She wouldn't remember me at all, but She lived across the street, so our families were friends.
Okay, now how did you feel when you first saw her on the big screen? What went through your mind when you saw that?
Well, the first time I saw her was in the Birdcage, a movie with Robin Williams, and I was thrilled because our family had kept in touch with her family, her parents, and we knew she was in theater and everything. So it was really a thrill for our family to see that she finally made it into big time.
Now, has anyone wrote her and told her about the success of the team?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Okay.
Maybe she'd be interested.
Okay, that just goes to show you that a Midwestern upbringing can take you far.
Betcha.
All right, 26-9. Thank you, Andrea. 26-9, our score here with about 4 minutes to go here in the half. Carrollton in front with the basketball. We're going to get a second crack at it because Dana Carter gets the offensive rebound on the Kara Gillingham miss. Now it's Shelton on the low block. Turnaround jumper. That one won't go down.
Still a nice move. She had the ball up. It went in and out, but it was an excellent move. They have to get a bucket here. Their shooting percentage is 3 for 13. They have to find the look.
No question they need one. Rachel Korth can't come down with it. Her shot from the outside is no good. DeShazer brings back now for Carrollton on the move. From the corner. Carter gives it back up to DeShazer, goes right through the paint. Lots of ball out of bounds. No, it was saved. Good hands that time by Shelton to keep the ball alive.
Stockton has to anticipate where the cutters are coming from.
Shelton again, pull-up jumper in the paint is good.
And as you can see, what actually happened, nobody cut the cutter coming from low to high, and she was wide open for a nice jumper.
13 points now for Shelton. She's averaging 17 a game. She might have her average here in the first half. Wide open down low, and a big basket by Marcy Jackson. Stockton needed something, Bernie.
That was a rare defensive collapse for Carrollton, but Stockton needed something exactly because they haven't scored in so long.
We're under 3 minutes to go till halftime. Carrollton leading Stockton 28-11. A steal that time. Good hands by Rachel Korth. Flips it up to Jody Wolf. He's got everybody beat down, but missed the shot. And Carter clears now for the Lady Hawks. Carrollton wants timeout. It's our 32nd timeout, so we'll keep it here. As we mentioned, from time to time, we'll be asking you trivia questions that you can answer on the IHSA website. And our trivia question has this Class A school holding the state tournament record for most points in a title game and tournament. Name the school. TV at IHSA.org is what you want to click onto on the internet. And we'll be giving you that correct answer a little bit later. 28-11, Carrollton is in front of Stockton here in the Class A state semifinals. The winner of this ball game will take on Teutopolis for the championship tonight. And I think Carrollton, Bernie, has lived up to everything that we have heard as the #1 ranked team in the state. They've come in, they've been poised, and they've pounded the ball inside to Amber Shelton.
Very much so, and you know, when you look at what they put out on the floor, everybody contributes on this team. It's not just one player that actually dominates offensively.
There's Shelton. From the foul line, her shot is no good. But Stockton comes away with it. Stephanie Drain on the defensive end. Quick hands that time by Laura Moss. She flashed right across the passing lane and knocked that pass out of bounds. Wolf was intending to hit Rachel Korth.
And that's a great comment that you made, because if you'll watch Carrollton, when that happens, they all go up to each other and they say, nice hands, nice hands, nice hands.
They've been very active with their hands on defense, causing Stockton all kinds of trouble. Now Wolf, open three, missed the shot. Long rebound, tipped way out. Laura Moss, all the way down. Had a shot blocked from behind by Drain. Korth did a nice job to keep that ball from going out of bounds. Minute and a half left here in the opening half of play. Chelsea Eilder's shot is no good. And Carrollton comes away with it. It's Shelton. Not afraid to bring the ball up the floor either, evidently. Now Nolan. A minute to go here now in the first half of action. Carrollton with the basketball and a 28-11 lead in the state semifinals. The 32-1 Hawks have been impressive here in the opening half. They appear to be patient enough to work it around the perimeter. I can't imagine they're holding for one. Bernie, you said they were an aggressive team, and
but
it's not.
And that's kind of frustrating me because they're not running a pattern. They're standing, and Lori's being very patient. She knows her kids know what they're doing. But there you go, a turnover. I just get ready to say that they're standing offensively, and when you do that, you just give the defense an opportunity to get a steal.
Korth came up with the steal, took it all the way down, and then hit the jump shot. She goes coast to coast and hits the pull-up jumper. She has 6. And now in the final 8 seconds, we'll see if Carrollton can take advantage of the last opportunity. Here's Shelton from the outside. Short. She can't come up with it. Korth out-wrestles her for the rebound, and that's the end of the opening half of play. And Carrollton will take a 15-point lead into the locker room at halftime. 28-13 is the score. Carrollton leading Stockton.
One of the things that Lori mentioned yesterday is she's not comfortable with anything but a 20-point lead. And you just saw that now when they turned the ball over and then Stockton actually scored off it. She wants her kids to maintain the lead because that's when they lost last year. They were up by 16 and they lost the game.
Andrea Randall is standing by right now with Lori Blade. Andrea?
I'm here with Lori Blade. And Lori, how do you think your team is playing in the first half?
I thought we came out very aggressive there. We knocked down some shots early, kind of got them back on their heels. Everything slowed down a little bit, but overall they're doing a nice job.
Okay, what are you going to talk about at halftime?
We've got to board a little bit defensively and stop transition.
Is this where you want to be at this point of the game?
Absolutely. I'm very pleased with where we're at right now.
Okay, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrea. 28-13, Lori Blades, Carrollton Lady Hawks lead the Stockton Lady Blackhawks here at halftime. Let's step aside for a network break with Carrollton in front by 15 at the half.
All right, I'm here with Marty Hickman. He's the Associate Executive Director of IHSA. And Marty, how are you enjoying the tournament today?
Oh, it's great. We love having the girls tournament here, and this is just another example of some of the great girls basketball we have in Illinois right now.
And let's talk about the tournament and the growth of the tournament in recent years.
Well, we've seen consistently over the last several years not only a growth in terms of the number of teams that participate, but the number of fans who are coming to our tournament as well, and I think it speaks very highly for the girls program.
Okay, now let's talk a little about attitude and about sportsmanship, and how is IHSA focusing on that?
Yeah, well, that's one of our biggest priorities is sportsmanship. You know, we want to teach these lessons that they're going to last a lifetime, and sportsmanship is a big part of that. We put a lot of energy into that through our promotional campaigns, through a sportsmanship committee, and that's one of our highest priorities.
Okay, and also we learned that the IHSA just received an extension. Can you tell us about that?
Right, we're going to be here in Bloomington Normal for the next 5 years. This is fast becoming the real home of girls basketball here. They do a great job with this community. You can see all the things around the arena celebrating the history of girls basketball, a lot of pictures, a lot of neat things that it's kind of a new touch here, and they're doing a great job here in Bloomington Normal.
And I was at the March Madness celebration yesterday at Horton Fieldhouse, and can you tell me about that and how that has grown in popularity?
Yeah, they've really picked up, and obviously that's kind of something they picked up from some of our other hosts like Fiore with the March Madness experience. It's a little different twist because they're really focusing on the history of girls basketball and trying to celebrate the history of girls basketball. And so it's been a wonderful addition to this program, and we hope people get over to Horton Fieldhouse to see it.
Oh, I urge them to get over there. I like the posters. You got some posters of past champions and a lot of history involved. Now, tell me how the community has responded to you.
Well, they've been great. We've had a steering committee made up of community members, some of our own staff, and they've worked really around the year to look at different ideas, different things that they can do to help promote girls basketball. Some of the signs you see around town, some of the banners you see around town, and obviously everything that's going on over at Horton right now.
Okay, can you explain to me about attitude? I don't see him around here. Where is he?
Generally attitude is everywhere.
What does he stand for?
Yeah, well, attitude just is really this kind of a spirit of competition, respect for your opponent, respect for other people, and when we have attitude out here just to be a visual display of that, hopefully to remind people that while they're here, sportsmanship's important, the attitude that you bring to a contest is important, and we think attitude really brings something to all of our state final contests.
Okay. All right, Marty Hickman is Associate Executive Director of IHSA, and we'll be back after these local messages.
Back at halftime, it's Carrollton 28 and Stockton 13 in the second of two Class A state semifinals here at Redwood Arena. Kurt Pegler along with Normal West head coach Bernie Charles, and we're glad you're alongside here on the IHSA television network. Certainly Carrollton came in with a lot of hype, and I think they've lived up to it here in the first half, haven't they, Bernie?
They've shown us so many things. They've started things off with defense, but we're seeing that they're shooting 50%. That's a great stat, 50% shooting. But they've actually, because of their defense, they're not allowing Stockton to score. So we're looking at Stockton shooting at 26%, and you can see 0 for 5 at the three-point line. Carrollton's shooting 50% from the three-point line. But I think the big key is the fact that Carrollton has scored 14 points in the paint, and Stockton only 4.
Only 5 field goals for Stockton, none of them from their star player, Jody Wolf. 0 out of 6 from the field and held scoreless. And certainly if Stockton's going to win, that has to change in the second half.
Well, Jody's the type of player that can come onto the floor and score. I think a lot of it has to do with a little bit of her choices in the decision-making. She's dishing the ball up too much instead of attacking the basket and trying to score herself.
Let's take a look at that first half scoring again. Korth, Jackson, and Drain for Stockton have done the job, 6, 4, and 2 points. And then you look at Amber Shelton. She's averaging about 17 points a game. She already has 13 in the first half, and her and DeShays are combining for 20 points.
Right, and you know, here we go with a freshman. She has as many points as the entire team. That Stockton has 13 and she has 13.
Yeah, well, it's been a big half for Amber Shelton and a big half certainly for Carrollton as they are in control of this one. 28-13 at halftime here in the second Class A state semifinal game, and the winner here gets to Topolis for the championship game tonight. We'll step aside and we'll be back after this local break. Leading Stockton at halftime 28-13. Let's take a look at some of those highlights which shaped the first half. A very good first half for the Lady Hawks of Carrollton and a rough first half for Stockton's Lady Blackhawks. And Carrollton in the white uniforms in these highlights. They were scoring from the inside and from the outside, weren't they, Bernie?
And you know, Karen Brainin again, she is the playmaker of this team, and you can see that she is trying to establish a sense of, I'm going to get you the ball and you guys need to score.
That was Rachel Korth of Stockton. She is her team's leading scorer with 6 points. We mentioned Amber Shelton, the highly touted freshman for the Lady Hawks of Carrollton. She had a very good first half, 5 out of 11 from the field to lead her team with 13 points. It's been a 1-2 punch inside and outside that has been very difficult for Stockton to defend. And here's another look at one of those Carrollton baskets early on. We mentioned Shelton. She was running the floor here.
Look how strong she is with that power move. We call that a power move or a power slide. keep your body erect, strong, take big steps, but put the ball out in front of you. And she has all those physical abilities that she's going to be a phenomenal player by the time she's a senior.
Andrea Randall is standing by with Stockton coach Terry Korth.
Coach Korth, long time in the locker room today. You guys came out a little slow. What do you need to talk to your team to get them to play more inspired?
Well, I said we're getting beat at our own game. Usually defense is the name of our game. Having that last game was a late night, but I just told them today's the last day. You got all month till next year to be tired. We got to pick it up defensively, not try to get it all back at one time. Just get a stop, one basket at a time, and there's a lot of time left. We can still get back in this ball game.
Okay, good luck in the second half, and we'll be back after these local messages.
.13 our halftime scores. We get ready to start the third quarter here, the second Class A state semifinals. Carrollton with a 15-point lead, and Carrollton starts the second half with the basketball in the white uniforms and green trim, and their opponents, Stockton in the maroon uniforms with gold trim.
Again, yesterday I mentioned that they run sideline out of bounds plays, so I'm curious to see if we'll see the same thing. That should be a shot. That's what they did yesterday.
Brannon to the baseline, fadeaway jumper, no good, tipped back around, and cleared by Stockton that time. It was Korth that got the defensive board. Not afraid to mix it up. She's got 3 rebounds now. On the low block. Shot that time was missed by Copper McPeak. That was a tough angle underneath the basket to shoot.
You know, but Karen Brandon comes up with the board. She's a guard, and she's coming up with a board. They need to move offensively. Too much standing.
It appears that way, yeah.
Very complacent.
Both teams
very complacent.
At least standing around here.
Come on, ladies. This is for the state finals. Let's go.
And a 3-ball by Karen Brannon.
That'll hear them up.
Well, see, Bernie, they just heard you urging, that's all. We can take you out of the coach's box, but we can't take the coach out of you, that's for sure.
That's what they tell me.
31-13, Carrollton with the advantage now. Pass inside, knocked away that time, and it's going to be DeShazer coming away with a steal and another turnover, the 9th of the game for Stockton.
And I'm surprised they're slowing down. You know, usually they get that transition, the steal, and they push the ball down the court. They're choosing not to do that.
There certainly does appear to be a lot of standing around, but a backdoor pass nicely done, and it's Justine Tucker who's going to get to the foul line.
And I think that, you know, again, Karen is the one who found that player. And, you know, I always preach that you can't make a basket unless you have a good passer. And Karen Brandon is an exceptional passer. She sees the floor very well.
Tucker, the junior center, is averaging better than 7 points and 4 rebounds a game. 57% free throw shooter. And an opportunity giving the Lady Hawks their biggest lead of the game. 32-13 is what our advantage is right now for Carrollton over Stockton. Again, the winner of this ball game here tonight, or this afternoon, will play tonight for the state title against Teutopolis.
Jody Wolf is the key. She has to attack the basket. She's looking to pass too much.
3-ball is short that time by Stephanie Drain, and everything is coming up short right now for Stockton. Brandon in the corner. Her pass is picked off now by Drain, and it's knocked out of bounds, and it's going to go to Stockton. Nothing has seemingly gone the way of the Stockton Hawks. They haven't had a chance to put a big run together. They scored 8 points in the first quarter, just 5 points in the second quarter, and have really not had that pop offensively.
Well, a team that's averaging close to 50 points a game, they're not finding the offensive edge. There you go.
Stephanie Drain on a nice play, cut to the basket, got the ball in a good spot, and shot it in.
Solid inside move by Stephanie.
Drain with 4, and it's a 32-15 Carrollton lead. And certainly that's been the story, is the flow of the game has been all Carrollton. Stockton has yet to really get anything going offensively. Offensive board by DeShazer. Her putback is no good, but another opportunity on the offensive board by Justine Tucker. They're pounding the glass.
We haven't heard a lot out of Justine Tucker. And this was an excellent rebound by Justine. She kept the ball up and powered it back up. Unfortunately, she was fouled.
She'll go back to the free throw line. She just split a pair of foul shots a moment ago. And some substitutions now for Stockton. Allison Tippy coming in the ball game for the first time. Second free throw is rimming out. But the Lady Hawks get it back and have an opportunity to turn it into a 3-point possession on an offensive rebound.
Now, some of these things, that ball slipping through their hands, I do think it's fatigue, because this isn't the same team we saw yesterday. And Stockton has to, if they're going to, get on the scoreboard, they're going to have to make sure they fundamentally do the right things. Like right there, Jody was very lackadaisical in her dribble. She's not attacking like she did yesterday. So maybe fatigue is a factor.
Yeah, certainly an uncharacteristic turnover by Jody Wolf. And it's a 20-point Carrollton lead, under 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 35-15, Carrollton leads Stockton. More basketball comes your way after this local break. With a 20-point lead here at the 4:43 mark. Left in the third quarter. It's been an uphill climb for Terry Korth and her Stockton Lady Blackhawks, who had one brief lead early in the game, Bernie, and since that time we've been just trying to climb this mountain.
They're struggling very much offensively with a 27% shooting percentage, 6 for 22. They're putting up shots, they're just not falling. But I think, again, because of the fatigue factor, they're not squaring up to the basket. They're not coming out of their jump shot. Everything is, not finished. It's not a finished shot.
And right now, Carrollton freshman Amber Shelton has as many points as the entire Stockton team, both with 15. Carrollton with a basketball and this 20-point advantage. DeShazer, nice move on the baseline, draw some traffic, and we'll get to the foul line.
I really like Alicia DeShazer. I just like what she does with the basketball once she gets it. She's so quick with her first step, and that is really what you want to be able to do, is take that ball and power that sideline.
Lori Blade, in her 7th year, has seen a couple of the DeShazer girls come through. This is the third in line. Two of her older sisters wore Lady Hawks uniforms.
Interesting enough, when Lori was in junior high, I was her coach, and I was a student teacher at the time down in Greenup, Illinois, Cumberland County.
Did she have the coaching look back then? Did you think that she'd be coaching the #1 ranked team in the state back then?
Well, she was a player, I'll tell you that. She was a player, very aggressive young lady. love to play any sport, basketball, softball.
She's taken Carrollton to this state championship arena for the 4th time in 6 years. They've made it this far. And after the air ball, it's going to be Carrollton coming away with it. Shelton's long lead pass ahead. Oh, nice rejection that time by Stephanie Drain, but she got part of the body, and there's going to be a foul, and Laura Moss is going to get to the foul line.
And again, you know, who saw her? You know, it was Karen Brannon. She saw that weak side player, gave her the ball.
There you get a good look at Lori Blade, who's won better than 89% of her games.
She was a phenomenal softball player in Casey and went to SIU Edwardsville on a softball scholarship. So she definitely has an excellent athletic background.
And it's transferred over to her players. Carrollton has looked fresh tonight. They've looked very good, and right now they are controlling this game.
They must do something right in Carrollton, because last year they won the 8th grade championship, and the way they're going right now, they're going to be in the finals.
Well, I can say at least there's one key to that. Last year's 8th grade championship and this year's team, and that key is Amber Shelton.
Absolutely.
She's a member of both those teams.
And you can see that by how poised she is out on the floor. You wouldn't think that this was for the championship game.
Yeah. Held ball, alternate possession is going to be Stockton's. 37-15 right now, a 22-point Carrollton lead. Terry Korth, the Stockton head coach, wants a 30-second timeout to talk things over. Her team has just absolutely struggled offensively. 6 out of 23 shooting for the game, 26%. And again, Jody Wolf, a terrific, terrific player, senior guard who's averaging 13.5 points a game, is 0 out of 6, held scoreless, and I would have never thought that that'd be the case with 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
And again, you know, it's very difficult for a team to come and play on this floor. This is Stockton's first appearance, but, you know, this is a great learning experience for those kids.
www.ihsa.org is the website for the Illinois High School Association. You can click on there and get all the state tournament information. All kinds of goodies on that website, www.ihsa.org. Stockton, by the way, here just has 2 points in the quarter. It's been a rough way for Stockton. I think you've got to give some of that credit to the Lady Hawks and Carrollton. They've done a nice job with their hands. They've caused some turnovers. Stockton has just not been able to get the ball in the basket. Just like that, rimming in and out every shot. That was Lindsey Kramer, who missed from the outside. And this time the held ball possession goes to Carrollton.
You can see the frustration on their faces. They're 0 for 8 from the 3-point arc. They're not able to find any answer to a scoring opportunity.
Meanwhile, the Lady Hawks have had a couple of breaks go their way. They've certainly created the breaks, and that's the reason why they're in front. DeShazer from the outside.
What a beautiful shot. It had such nice arc. Receives the patch, a great catch and shoot.
And DeShazer now in double figures. She has 10 points. It's a 24-point Carrollton advantage, 39-15. Nice pass from Wolf down to Stephanie Drain. Missed the shot. DeShazer on the defensive end comes away with it. Her pass intended for Shelton. Grabbed by Shelton.
What a beautiful catch. You know, you want that pass to be there, but you don't want to overcompensate. And she was able to catch that pass and put it up strong. She plays a lot bigger than 5'9".
Well, that ball looked like it was destined for the front row, but Shelton with those soft hands came down with it and put it back up. She now has 17 to lead all scorers. Copper McPeak is coming back in along with Rachel Korth for Stockton. But it'll be Ilders to the bench alongside Stephanie Drain. The scoring run is all Carrollton, 9-2. Much-needed basket, a 3-point shot that time, yeah, by Lindsey Kramer, their first 3-pointer. And just the 5th point here in the second half now for Stockton. I think when you get into the state tournament situation, Bernie, you know how it is. You hope that your team, it's almost like a stepladder, plays well in the supers, plays better in the quarters, plays better in the semis, and then reaches its peak in the finals. Stockton played so well last night that you wonder if maybe the bullet that they used was last night.
And that very well may have happened.
That basket down low by DeShazer, and again, she's on a roll right now. She's scored 4 of her team's last 6. She now has 12 and another turnover for Stockton. That will be their 11th of the game. Certainly, this team is better than what it's showing right now. Played so well last night against Nashville.
And, you know, you don't want to keep bringing it up, but, you know, the fatigue factor, and Carrollton is just so much making this all happen because they are so physical. They're showing a lot of different defenses, and their offense just seems to be falling into play.
Meanwhile, Carrollton just continues to play well, shooting better than 51% from the floor right now. That 3 ball by Laura Moss went off the top of the iron, then over the backboard there, touching the shot clock. So it's going to be Stockton's basketball. Minute 10 to go here, third quarter. 43-18, Carrollton the lead. And again, Jody Wolf has been held scoreless. And that's a tough nut to crack if you're Stockton and your best players scoreless into the third quarter. Her and Rachel Korth both, I guess, would be their top players, and Rachel's played pretty well now. There's Stephanie, or I should say, that's Copperman Peak scoring down low. 43-20.
You notice that she's going to her bench more. The coach is going to her bench. She said that, you know, she really wasn't wanting to have to do that, but it's happening.
Under 30 seconds to go here left, third quarter. Boy, Laura Moss, or I should say Amber Shelton, thought about that one. And now Moss to bring the ball back out. 17 and counting left in the third quarter. Here's Moss, open shot, missed it. Came up short, long rebound, fought for. Allison Tippy got a hold of it. It's going to be an alternate possession in favor of Stockton.
Sometimes I think it's difficult to make that three-point shot when you're standing and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. You know, you try and tell the kids you need to constantly be on the move, do some type of offensive change of direction so that it would be more of a fluid shot, a catch, than shoot, instead of stand and shoot.
See if they get a shot off, and they do. Korth's shot is no good. Would have counted had it gone. It's gone the way of the Carrollton Lady Hawks. They lead it after the end of the 3 quarters, 43-20 over the Stockton Lady Black Hawks. The fourth quarter is around the corner after this network break.
Emergency. Only Country Insurance gives you immediate advice from a claims authority. Country Insurance. Real people, real answers, real quick.
Carrollton in control of this one at the end of 3 quarters. The Lady Hawks, the #1 ranked Class A team in the state, lead Stockton 43-20, outscoring Stockton 15-7 in that third quarter. And again, Stockton just hasn't been able to get it going offensively. Bernie, 28% from the field, and it's hard to win a lot of basketball games when you're shooting 8 out of 29.
Right, and in their 1 for 10 from the three-point arc, they're even struggling at the free throw line, 3 for 8. Where you look at Stockton, statistically, they're almost at 50%. They're shooting, you know, fairly well from three-point arc, 37%. I would take that. And free throws, it looks like they are 12 for 17. So again, they're very well-rounded, very balanced, very patient, very disciplined. And Lori has some new players out on the floor that really didn't see a whole lot of playing time yesterday, so maybe she's giving her other kids some run.
Teutopolis already has a reservation for the Class A title game tonight. The winner of this game plays T-Town for the 2001 Class A championship. As we open the fourth quarter of play, Carrollton with a basketball and a 23-point advantage.
This is a much smaller lineup for Carrollton.
DeShazer still on the floor at 6 feet, but you're right. The remainder of the crew on the floor is made up of guards. There's DeShazer fadeaway jumper. That's good. And
that guard made that happen. Yeah. Katie Nolan.
She's got 14 now. DeShazer. Her and Shelton have combined for 31 points. (45-20) is our score. And that's a nice jump shot by Lindsay Kramer.
Lindsay Kramer caught the ball very well on the interior shoulder and was able to just put up a very nice jump shot. And that was probably the first jump shot that we've seen this half for Stockton that did not look rushed or did not look like they were tired as they were shooting.
Yeah, she's got a nice shooting stroke, and she's perfect today. 2 out of 2 from the field, and she's hit her only foul shot. They lob it down low again to DeShazer, and she is on a roll.
That's the second lob inside. They have 20 points in the paint.
16 for DeShazer, 6 out of 8 from the floor. She's having a terrific semifinal game. And a steal that time by Kara Gillingham. 3-on-1 for the Lady Hawks. Laura Moss all the way down, flipped it up and in, and the foul.
That was a great play. Again, Kara Gillingham, she didn't play much yesterday and is coming off the bench today, and it really generates this with the steal. She dribbles out of the steal. We try and teach not to do that, but she found number 24, Laura Moss. Nice power move to the basket. Could be a three-point play.
Moss is really the three-point shooter on the team, hitting a team-high 53, but there she shows that she can score on the go in a terrific effort. And now an opportunity to make it 3 the hard way. She's used to shooting those triples from beyond the perimeter, but she makes good on the free throw.
I'm sure she'll take that stat. That's okay. 3 points is 3 points.
It's a 28-point Carrollton advantage, 50-22. Here's Wolf. Turnaround fadeaway. No good. Korth up and in.
Nice move by Rachel Korth. She was able to put a basket back in and score from that opportunity on an offensive board.
Now an open 3 for Gillingham from the corner. It's no good, and Jody Wolf just went and stripped it right out of the hands of Dana Carter. Wolf still looking for her first points tonight. She might get them here. And she does, and we'll see if they count the foul.
Where was that move? I mean, we're now in the 4th quarter. That's what she is known for, slicing through the defenses. That's why she is their leading scorer. She can split the defense, she can attack the basket, and come up with solid jump shots just like that.
Showing her tenacity, taking the ball right to the defense and scoring there. And while we're away in replay, she makes the field goal, so she has her first 3 points of the game, and they come here in the 4th quarter. 50-27 in favor of Carrollton. Katie Nolan may have, no, initially it looked like they might whistle a violation, but instead it's going to be a foul against Stockton.
One of the things that I like about Stockton, Lori has taught the girls, when the defense is overplaying you, attack the basket immediately. They don't even hesitate. They just attack.
Carrollton now in the bonus after that 6th team foul for Stockton from the corner. Gillingham the miss. Long rebound comes way out, saved nicely by Nolan.
Coach is telling him to pull it out. She probably wants to run off some of the clock.
Ooh, DeShazer thought about that 3.
And Lori smiles. Don't do it, she says.
She was ready to pull the trigger on that one, but thought better of it, and instead there's going to be a foul out at the circle. And it's going to be on Wolf, who picked up 2 quick fouls in the first period, but that's just her 3rd now here in the 4th quarter, so she's stayed out of foul trouble. Of course, some of that time she spent on the bench.
And I think that was a frustration foul. She was very much out of position.
Moss is a 48% free throw shooter. Carrollton well on its way to a state championship berth tonight. Both free throws are good. Moss now with 7 points. Under 5 minutes to go here in regulation. Carrollton leading Stockton 52-27. So it'll be an over the back foul that time on Dana Carter, who was draped on Rachel Korth.
Foul number 10, Dana Carter, her first personal foul, third.
We've got a substitution here, and Laura Moss goes to the bench to a nice round of applause.
Crowd
Carrollton,
recognizing definitely what Laura has contributed on the floor.
The Carrollton crowd on its feet because its Lady Hawks lead 52-27 with 4:48 to go. Let's step aside now for this network break. 52-27, Carrollton with the lead and 4 minutes and 48 seconds away from gaining a spot opposite Teutopolis in tonight's Class A state championship game.
I think Lori's realizing that, you know, they're going to go for the championship in less than a few hours, and she was asked last night in the press room about the fatigue factor for her girls, and she just wanted to get through this game first, but she's taking out the bulk of her starting lineup and is giving an opportunity for the other kids to get on the floor, and that's great.
Well, that's a tremendous opportunity that you have. Bernie, you had an opportunity to catch that ball. That's a tremendous opportunity, obviously, to play in a state championship game, to play in a state tournament. So when you've got an opportunity to play some of your reserve players, players that practice hard all year long, put them in the game here, and that's going to be the case here for Carrollton. Jody Wolf, pull-up jumper, rolls out. Nothing will go down for her. Doesn't appear. Dana Carter comes down with it. She's stripped, and they've got a alternating possession on the held ball. And it goes to Stockton. It's just been that kind of a day for Jody Wolf, and it seems like most of her shots are right there at the rim, but they're just not going down. Here's Wolf again. She'll try from a long range to goes on the line.
That was a nice shot, and that's one of her arsenals that she has in her offensive attack.
And a turnover now for Carrollton. Stockton's going to get it right back.
That was a good call. Little frustration level on the Carrollton players. You know, they're just not accustomed to this, and they'll be fine as soon as they get into the rhythm. It's just like them starting the game.
We approach the 4-minute mark left here in regulation. Lindsay Kramer's shot is no good. Offensive board by Korth. She can't get the stick back. And back come the Lady Hawks now. It's Carter one-on-one with Korth. She'll wait for some teammates to come. Game getting a little bit sloppy here towards the end. In fact, stepped on the end line, Chelsea Alders. Player of the game, not too hard to figure out, huh? Amber Shelton has had a terrific game for the Lady Hawks. 7 out of 13 from the field for 17 points. That's her scoring in the break. She came in averaging 17 points, and she's the Country Insurance Player of the game. 5 rebounds to go with those 17 boards, and she is just a freshman. Amber Shelton is going to get a chance to play in a state championship game tonight after being a part of an 8th grade state championship team last season. That's a nice life.
I was going to say, I don't even know if that's ever happened before.
Scoring off the glass, Katie Nolan for 3. And that brings the bench to its feet. Everybody
and a big
smiling.
Smile on Lori's face.
Stephanie Drain misses the outside jumper, and the ball goes out of bounds to Carrollton. Well, at this point, you hope that the players on the floor can enjoy what's remaining in this game, that no one will get hurt, and they'll just enjoy the fact that this is a Class A state semifinal. Stockton has absolutely nothing to hang its head about because the Lady Blackhawks have had a terrific season.
And they still have a game to play tonight.
That's right.
They have to go up against the U-High Pioneers, and somebody's going to bring home that 3rd place trophy. And somebody will bring home the 4th place trophy.
True. Got trophies all around today. We're going to see some more wholesale substitutions here as Terry Kurth is going to send in some more of her players, give them an opportunity to play on this collegiate floor in this state tournament. Jody Wolf goes to the bench, likely for the final time. You might see her. There's still 3 minutes to go, but the 5'7" senior. And again, there's that consolation game tonight, but we might see her one more time here in the final 3 minutes. 55-29 our score. Carrollton in front of Stockton. And again, Carrollton is poised to take on Teutopolis in the championship game. T-Town an earlier winner over Normal University High School, 65-54 in the first semifinal this morning at Redbird Arena. McPeak had a shot blocked, but she drew a foul. She's going to get to the follow-up.
Dana Carter knew right away that she was playing lazy defense, and she kind of smacked herself a little bit.
That's the 4th team foul now on Carrollton. And McPeak will get a couple of free throws. Nice opportunity for a senior as well, and McPeak to get some playing time. And some more substitutions for the Lady Hawks of Carrollton. And again, they're rather large crowd giving a nice round of applause to their Lady Hawks on their way to a Class A state championship berth.
It's so fun to see when they come off the bench and all the high fives and the excitement.
Well, it's been a great tournament thus far, and certainly it looks like we'll have a good consolation game and a good championship game here tonight at Redbird Arena. Good field and a young field in this Class A Elite 8. We're thinking we may see some of these teams right back here again next year.
Absolutely. Quite a few of the coaches felt that they were a year early, but they said they'll take that.
Yeah. It's not so bad when your 5-year plan or your 3-year plan only takes 1 year, right?
Right.
You're ahead of schedule. And it appears that everybody is still having some fun, even though the outcome of the game is pretty well decided. It's just what's the point spread going to be. There's a nice play by Lindsay Kramer. She's got an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Lindsay took the ball very quickly again with a quick first step and was able to, you know, allow the defense to overplay her on the one side, but then she went and attacked the basket and scored.
Team foul, Kramer line, shooting 1.
5th team foul whistled against Carrollton, and Kramer makes good on the 3-point play. And so Lindsay Kramer's putting together a nice second half. She has 8 points. Down low, basket that time by Nicole Meyer, getting some playing time and scoring. All those players that work so hard during practice that might not get a whole lot of minutes during the regular season. In the postseason, getting a chance to play here at Redbird Arena. From the outside, the jumper is good that time by Allison Tippy. The offense has arrived, huh, Bernie? Both teams are playing loose.
And these kids are, you know, that neither group of kids have anything to lose, so they're just out there playing and having fun, and that's what it should be about at this point.
As we approach the 1.5-minute mark, 90 seconds left here in the semifinals. It'll be Teutopolis and Carrollton. 2001 Class A Girls State Championship. And we'll be with you tonight at 8 o'clock to bring you that broadcast here live from Redbird Arena. Emily Pullman had an opportunity to put the ball up, but she traveled. We'll remind you that any rebroadcast or reproduction of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association is strictly prohibited. 1:10 and counting left in this semifinal morning. Teutopolis beat U-High in the first session. Carrollton is a minute away now from defeating Stockton in the second game. Stockton and U-High, that'll be a fun matchup in the consolation game. Lindsay Kramer's shot is no good. Meyer, the long rebound now for Carrollton. Its fans on its feet. On their feet, marching down the final 40 seconds. Meyer inside to Emily Pullman, and she scores off the glass.
And it's so fun to see the bench stand up and jump up and support the kids that you've mentioned that work so hard in practice, because that's a very difficult role to actually have to be in.
Scoring off the glass is Copper McPeak. The offenses are just opening it up here in the final seconds. And we're down to our final seconds, and we've got a held ball, and it goes to Carrollton with 4.2 seconds left in this one.
What a great matchup we'll have tonight with Stockton with Carrollton actually playing T-Town. We have a great crowd behind us with Carrollton, and across from us will be all the Wooden Shoe fans. It's going to be a great atmosphere tonight.
The entry pass is stolen. That's going to do it. An impressive victory for Carrollton, 59-37 in this second Class A state semifinal, and Carrollton has moved into the championship round against the Teutopolis Wooden Shoes. Our final score again, 59-37. We're back after this local break.
And I'm here with Amber Shelton, and Amber Shelton was a player of the game. But Amber, first of all, congratulations on making it to the state finals.
Thanks.
Now, when you joined the squad as a freshman at the beginning of the season, did you ever think that you would be playing in the state finals?
I knew that we'd have a pretty good team, but I didn't know if we'd go all the way or not.
Okay. Now, how are you going to handle that Teutopolis Lady Shoes? They're pretty tough. I know you've been watching them play. What do you think that you guys need to do to try to slow them down?
Well, they have a lot of good guards, so we need to stop that, and they have some pretty good post players, so we need to stop the inside too.
All right, well, we'll see you in the championship game. Thanks for an interview, and again, congratulations.
All right, thanks.
And Kurt, back to you.
All right, thank you, Andrea. 59-37. Amber Shelton, a big part of the Carrollton victory. And they're going to the championship game tonight against Teutopolis. It's an 8 o'clock start. Teutopolis and Carrollton meeting for the Class A state championship live here at Redbird Arena. We hope you'll be with us courtside in Normal for the Class A state championship game. Thanks for being with us here for the semifinals. Teutopolis and Carrollton tonight for the championship. For Bernie Charles, this is Kurt Pegler. Have a good afternoon.